Have you ever stopped to ask yourself how much of your life has been spent trying to prove something to people who don't even matter? How many hours have been wasted scrolling through other people's lives, comparing, envying, wishing instead of building your own? It's a painful question, but it's the one that can wake you up, because every second you spend focused on others is a second stolen from yourself, a second you can never get back. Think about it. You are here, alive, with a mind, a body, a soul full of potential. And yet, how often do you ignore it? How often do you silence your own voice so you can hear the noise of everyone else's opinions? How many dreams have you buried just to fit in, just to look acceptable, just to be liked? The truth is, most people go through life blind to their own power because they are too busy staring at someone else's. But deep down, you know this isn't who you are. You weren't created to live in the shadows of comparison. You weren't born to waste your strength chasing approval. There's something inside you that craves more, something that knows you are capable of becoming more if only you could turn your focus back where it belongs, on you. The life you want isn't out there waiting for someone to hand it to you. It isn't hiding in someone else's success or in the praise you're chasing from others. The life you want is buried inside of you, waiting to be uncovered the moment you stop scattering your energy outward and start channeling it inward. Focus is energy, and wherever that focus goes, your life follows. When it's trapped in comparison, you shrink. When it's wasted on other people's opinions, you weaken. But when it's locked onto yourself, your growth, your discipline, your peace, you become unstoppable. This isn't selfishness. This is survival. Because if you don't put yourself first, no one else will. The world will take as much as you allow it to. People will drain you if you don't protect your own energy. Distractions will consume you if you don't guard your own attention. And the scariest part, you'll wake up one day and realize you spent your entire life living for everyone but yourself. That's not living, that's slowly dying. But here's the reward for shifting your focus, freedom. When you choose yourself, you reclaim your time. When you choose yourself, you build confidence that no one can take away. When you choose yourself, you stop begging for permission to be great, and you finally give it to yourself. Imagine the power of walking through life no longer enslaved by comparison, no longer chained to what people think, no longer distracted by noise that doesn't matter. Imagine what it feels like to wake up every day knowing your energy is building you, not breaking you. This is why you need to hear every word of what's coming next. Because this is your turning point. This is the moment you stop leaking your power and start owning it. The moment you stop existing for others and begin living for yourself. If you stay with me, you will walk away with more than motivation. You will walk away with the mindset to finally take back your life. The power is already inside you. All you need to do is focus. Comparison is the silent thief of joy, the invisible chain that holds you down even when you think you are moving forward. It creeps in when you look at someone else's success and immediately feel like your progress isn't enough. It poisons your mind when you measure your worth against someone else's highlight reel. And the truth is, no matter how far you go, if you keep looking sideways, you will never feel fulfilled, because there will always be someone with more, someone doing something different, someone living a life that makes you question your own. But here's the reality most people refuse to face. Comparison is an illusion. You are comparing yourself to an image, not a truth. You see their results, but not their sacrifices. You see their achievements, but not their battles. And while you're busy staring at their path, you're ignoring your own. You're neglecting the one thing that matters most, your growth, your journey, your unique potential. Psychology calls it the social comparison trap, and it's one of the fastest ways to destroy confidence. The more you compare, the less satisfied you feel. The more you measure your life against others, the more blind you become to your own progress. And slowly you begin to believe that you are behind, that you are not enough, that you are failing even when you're not. This is how comparison robs people of peace. This is how it convinces them to settle for less, to quit too soon, to bury their gifts under layers of doubt. But you don't have to live like that. You don't have to chain yourself to other people's timelines. The only comparison that matters is who you were yesterday versus who you are today. The only race you are running is with yourself. Every step forward, no matter how small, is victory. Every ounce of progress, no matter how quiet, is proof that you are moving. When you redirect your focus inward, the weight of comparison begins to fall away. Suddenly, someone else's success is not your failure. It's just proof that growth is possible. And instead of envy, you find inspiration. Instead of doubt, you find drive. The greatest freedom you can give yourself is to stop measuring your worth by what others are doing. You were never supposed to live their life. You were never meant to walk their path. You were designed for something entirely your own. And the more you focus on building it, the more powerful you become. Comparison drains your energy. Self-focus multiplies it. When you stop giving your attention to what others have, you finally have the space to build what you've always wanted. So make the choice today to reclaim your focus. Train your mind to look inward, to celebrate your own growth, to track your own progress, because the truth is you are already enough. You already have everything you need to create the life you desire, but you will never see it if your eyes are always on someone else. When you let go of comparison, you open the door to peace. You open the door to clarity. And most of all, you open the door to growth. The power you are searching for has been within you all along. All it takes is the courage to stop looking outward and start looking within. Your attention is your most valuable currency. Wherever it goes, your energy follows, and wherever your energy flows, your life is shaped. Most people don't fail because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity. They fail because their attention is scattered, stolen, and wasted on things that have no power to build them. They pour their focus into gossip, into negativity, into the endless noise of distractions, and then wonder why they feel empty, unmotivated, and lost. The mind is like a magnifying glass. Whatever you point it toward grows stronger, larger, more consuming. Focus on problems and problems expand. Focus on fear and fear tightens its grip. Focus on other people's lives and you forget to live your own. But when you turn that magnifying glass inward onto your goals, your habits, your discipline, suddenly growth accelerates. Suddenly, the things you once thought were out of reach become inevitable. This isn't about ignoring the world. It's about protecting the most powerful force you have, your attention. Science proves it. What you repeatedly focus on rewires your brain. Neural pathways strengthen, habits form, and behaviors become automatic, which means every time you give your focus to distractions, you are wiring yourself for weakness. But every time you direct it toward your growth, you are wiring yourself for strength, clarity, and power. Look at the difference between a life lived with scattered focus and a life lived with intentional focus. One feels chaotic, reactive, like you're constantly putting out fires that never stop burning. The other feels purposeful, aligned, and unstoppable, like every action builds momentum toward the future you desire. The difference isn't luck. The difference is an opportunity. The difference is focus. Your attention is either building you or breaking you. There is no in between. Every time you give your energy to distractions, you delay your own progress. Every time you give your focus to things that don't matter, you rob yourself of the chance to build the life that does. This is why protecting your focus is an act of self-respect. It's proof that you value your future enough to stop feeding your present with poison. Imagine the version of yourself who no longer wastes energy on things that drain them. Imagine the strength, the confidence, the progress that comes from living with total clarity. That version of you exists, and it begins the moment you decide that your focus is sacred. The moment you decide that nothing is more important than the direction of your own energy. The truth is, life will always try to pull you away from yourself. Distractions will always be there, ready to steal your time, ready to dilute your potential. But you are stronger than the noise. You have the power to take back your attention, to pour it into yourself, and to multiply it into results that will transform your life. Protect your focus like your future depends on it, because it does. Train your mind to filter the noise, to reject the distractions, to choose yourself every single time. When your attention is locked on your own growth, you cannot be stopped. And once you learn how to master your focus, you will never again settle for a life that feels less than what you are capable of. One of the greatest traps you can fall into is the endless pursuit of pleasing everyone. It feels harmless at first, even noble, because you want harmony, acceptance, and love. But slowly it becomes a prison. You begin to shape yourself around what others expect. You silence your truth so you won't upset anyone. You stretch yourself thin to make everyone else comfortable while your own soul screams for attention. And the cruel part is, no matter how much you give, it is never enough. The people you bend over backward to please will still find fault, will still demand more, will still leave you questioning your worth. This happens because the need for approval is tied to one of the deepest human fears, rejection. We are wired to crave belonging. We want to be accepted, to be valued, to be loved. But when that natural need turns into desperation, it consumes you. You end up chasing validation like oxygen, and every breath you take depends on whether or not someone else approves. That is not living. That is handing your power away. The truth is, trying to please everyone is the fastest way to lose yourself. You become a reflection of their desires instead of the author of your own. And the cost is heavy. You sacrifice authenticity, you weaken your boundaries, and you bury your true identity under layers of masks. This is why so many people feel empty even when they appear surrounded by others, because they aren't really being seen. They're only being accepted for a version of themselves they created to be liked. But here's the truth that can set you free. The approval you've been chasing has never been the one you needed. The only approval that truly matters is your own. When you can look in the mirror and know you are living in alignment with your values, when you can stand tall knowing your choices are honest and authentic, you no longer need the world to clap for you because you've already given yourself permission to exist fully. Psychology proves this. Self-acceptance is the foundation of confidence. When you anchor your worth internally instead of externally, you become unshakable. People's opinions stop carrying the weight of life and death. Criticism loses its sting. Rejection stops feeling like the end of the world because you realize you were whole before their approval, and you will remain whole without it. The day you stop living for everyone else is the day you finally begin living for yourself. And the reward is strength. A strength that feels like peace. A strength that feels like freedom. A strength that no one can take from you, no matter what they say, no matter what they think, no matter how they judge. So stop giving away your life for shallow comfort of fitting in. Stop betraying yourself to be liked. You are not here to be everyone's approval. You are here to become who you were meant to be. And when you focus on pleasing yourself first, when you choose authenticity over acceptance, you will discover a power inside you that makes outside opinions irrelevant. You will no longer be ruled by fear. You will be ruled by freedom. When you stop living for others and begin living for yourself, something powerful begins to grow inside you. It is the quiet strength of knowing who you are and trusting it fully. This strength is not loud. It does not need to prove itself. It is unshakable because it comes from within, not from outside approval. And once it begins to form, nothing can take it away. Building inner strength is the foundation of true freedom. It is the confidence that doesn't break when people doubt you. It is the resilience that doesn't collapse when life tests you. It is the calm voice inside that says, I can handle this, even when everything around you feels uncertain. This kind of strength is not given, it is earned. It is built through focus, through discipline, through the decision to stop outsourcing your power and start developing it from within. Psychology calls it self-efficacy, the belief in your own ability to overcome challenges and create results. When you believe in yourself, you act differently. You take risks. You stay consistent. You keep moving forward even when it's hard because you trust that no matter what comes, you will adapt, you will learn, you will rise. And the more you prove yourself right, the stronger this belief becomes. Confidence is not arrogance. Confidence is simply evidence that you have survived every difficulty so far, evidence that you are stronger than your fears want you to believe, evidence that you are capable of far more than you have ever allowed yourself to see. This is why focusing on yourself is so critical. Every ounce of energy you pour inward strengthens this foundation. Every choice to work on your health, your mind, your discipline, your peace, it all compounds into a kind of inner armor. And this armor doesn't make life easier, but it makes you unbreakable in the face of it. You stop fearing storms because you know you are built to withstand them. You stop shrinking when challenges appear because you know there are opportunities to grow stronger. And here's the most liberating part. When your strength comes from within, outside voices lose their control. Criticism doesn't define you. Praise doesn't inflate you. Opinions no longer direct the course of your life. You become steady, balanced, centered in who you are. That steadiness is rare in a world addicted to external validation, and it makes you powerful beyond measure. Think about the freedom of walking through life, no longer desperate for approval, no longer chained by fear of rejection, no longer questioning your worth every time someone doubts you. Think about the peace that comes when you know without a shadow of doubt that you are strong enough to face anything. That is the reward of focusing inward. That is the gift of building true inner strength. You don't need to wait for life to give you permission. You don't need to wait for others to recognize your potential. You already have what it takes to create the life you want. But you must turn inward. You must invest in yourself. You must choose to strengthen your foundation until nothing outside of you can shake it. Because the day you fully trust yourself is the day you become unstoppable. Strength alone is not enough if you do not protect it. What good is a powerful mind if it is constantly exposed to noise that drains it? What good is a strong heart if it is constantly weighed down by chaos you never asked for? Protecting your peace is just as important as building your strength, because peace is what keeps you steady when the world is pulling you in every direction. Without peace, your energy leaks. Without peace, your focus scatters. Without peace, even the strongest foundation begins to crack under the weight of unnecessary pressure. Peace is not weakness. Peace is not passivity. Peace is power. It is the ability to remain calm in the middle of noise, to stay centered in the middle of storms, to hold on to clarity when distractions try to pull you away. It is the invisible shield that guards your energy, your focus, your inner strength. And without it, you will always be fighting battles that were never yours to begin with. The truth is, much of what steals your peace doesn't deserve your attention. Arguments, gossip, toxic environments, endless noise from people who don't matter. These are traps designed to consume your energy and leave you empty. And if you don't consciously protect yourself, you will spend your entire life drained by things that never deserved a second of your time. Protecting your peace means setting boundaries. It means saying no when your soul wants to say no, even if others don't understand. It means removing yourself from environments that suffocate your growth, even if it makes people uncomfortable. It means being intentional about what you allow into your mind, your heart, and your life. Because everything you let in is either feeding your growth or starving it. Psychology confirms that our environment shapes our emotions, our habits, and even our thoughts. If you are surrounded by constant negativity, your brain begins to normalize it. If you are bombarded with chaos, your body begins to live in stress mode, draining your energy and weakening your health. But when you guard your peace, when you intentionally choose stillness, calm, and clarity, your mind sharpens, your focus deepens, and your strength compounds. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It is necessary. You cannot give your best to the world if you're constantly running on empty. You cannot build a powerful life if you are constantly distracted by meaningless battles. You cannot rise higher if you are weighed down by the noise of people who don't want to see you win. When you guard your peace, you reclaim control over your energy. And once you control your energy, you control your life. Imagine how unstoppable you become when your mind is calm, when your emotions are steady, when your focus is razor sharp. Imagine how powerful you feel when nothing external can shake your inner world. That is the reward of valuing peace over chaos. That is the gift of focusing inward and refusing to let distractions steal what you are building. Your peace is sacred. Protect it fiercely. Defend it like your future depends on it, because it does. And when you finally choose to honor your peace, you step into a life of clarity, strength, and unshakable power that nothing and no one can take away. Peace gives you the space to breathe, but pain gives you the chance to transform. Every person carries scars, some visible, some hidden, but all of them hold the same choice: to be broken by them or to be built by them. Pain will visit every life, but what you do with it determines everything. When you run from it, it becomes a shadow that follows you everywhere. When you bury it, it grows into chains that hold you back. But when you face it, when you turn your focus inward and use it as fuel, pain becomes the sharpest tool for growth. Psychologists call this post-traumatic growth, the phenomenon where adversity becomes the catalyst for strength, wisdom, and deeper purpose. Struggle has the power to stretch you in ways comfort never could. Hardship demands that you discover parts of yourself you didn't know existed. Pain teaches lessons that ease could never provide. Every moment of suffering holds within it a seed of power, waiting to be claimed by those willing to see beyond the hurt. But here's the truth most people never realize. Pain doesn't destroy you. Resistance to pain does. The more you fight it, deny it, or wish it away, the heavier it feels. Yet the moment you choose to lean in, to learn, to grow, the weight begins to shift. Pain stops being the enemy and becomes the teacher. And the lessons it gives are priceless. You learn resilience, you learn patience, you learn the depth of your own strength. And once you've been refined by fire, no small storm can shake you again. Every setback you face has left behind wisdom. Every heartbreak has revealed truths about your capacity to love, to endure, to rise again. Every failure has given you the roadmap of what not to repeat, guiding you closer to success. Nothing you've been through is wasted. Nothing is meaningless if you choose to see the growth within it. When you focus inward during moments of pain, you reclaim control over the narrative. Instead of asking, why me? You begin to ask, what can this teach me? How can I use this to become stronger? And those questions turn suffering into strength, loss into wisdom, pain into progress. This shift is what separates those who crumble from those who rise. Because it's not the absence of pain that makes you powerful. It's the ability to transform it into fuel. Think about how unstoppable you become when even pain cannot break you. When setbacks only sharpen your determination. When every wound only deepens your wisdom. When every obstacle only strengthens your resolve. That kind of power cannot be faked. It cannot be handed to you. It can only be earned by facing the very things that once threatened to destroy you. So don't run from your pain. Don't hide from it. Face it, use it, turn it into fire. Because every ounce of hurt you carry holds the potential to elevate you higher than comfort ever could. When you embrace your pain as part of your growth, you step into a life where nothing is wasted, where even your darkest moments are transformed into the very light that leads you forward. Pain refines you, but what you do after that refinement determines the direction of your life. Growth does not happen by accident. It is built by intention, and intention demands discipline. You cannot rise into your fullest potential if you are not willing to invest in yourself with consistency and focus. Every skill you develop, every habit you strengthen, every choice you make in favor of growth is a brick laid in the foundation of your future. And the truth is simple. The energy you pour into yourself will never be wasted because it compounds into results that shape the rest of your life. Think about how much energy is lost each day to distractions, to worry, to opinions, to meaningless noise. That energy does not return. It vanishes, leaving you weaker than before. But when you take that same energy and redirect it into building yourself, into your health, your mind, your discipline, it multiplies. It builds a reservoir of strength, clarity, and momentum that carries you forward long after the moment has passed. This is the law of self-investment. What you put into yourself grows. What you neglect within yourself decays. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. It is the act of choosing long-term strength over short-term comfort. It is the courage to say no to what weakens you so you can say yes to what builds you. Every day you make choices that either move you closer to the person you were meant to become or further away. There is no neutrality. Each action is a seed, and those seeds will grow into either regret or reward. The question is, which will you choose to plant? Science shows us that consistent effort, even in small amounts, creates exponential change. Habits rewire the brain. Skills compound over time. The smallest daily actions, when repeated with focus, transform into unstoppable momentum. This is why investing in yourself is so powerful, because the returns do not just add up, they multiply. And the more you multiply your growth, the less life can shake you. Self-investment also builds self-respect. When you choose to invest in your own health, in your own growth, in your own discipline, you are sending yourself a message, I'm worthy. And the more you act from that place, the stronger that belief becomes. You stop tolerating what diminishes you. You stop accepting the bare minimum. You stop wasting time on what does not elevate you. Because once you experience the power of investing in yourself, you refuse to go back to neglecting who you are. Imagine the version of you who has sharpened their mind, strengthened their body, disciplined their habits, and guarded their energy with intention. Imagine the confidence, the momentum, the unstoppable drive that comes from knowing you are prepared for whatever life brings. That version of you is not a fantasy. It is waiting to be built, and it begins with the decision to invest in yourself every single day. Every hour wasted on comparison or distraction is gone forever. But every hour invested in yourself compounds into a future you cannot even imagine yet. The life you dream of does not appear by chance. It is created by consistent choices to focus on what truly matters. Your growth, your discipline, your strength. When you choose to make yourself the priority, you unlock the kind of power that transforms not only your life, but everything and everyone you touch. The greatest shift you can ever make is realizing that the power you search for is not outside of you. It is within you, waiting to be activated. Too often people hand their energy away to circumstances, to opinions, to fears, and then wonder why they feel powerless. But power has never been something given. It is something claimed. And you claim it the moment you decide that nothing outside of you will dictate how far you rise. Every doubt that lingers in your mind is nothing more than a voice conditioned by past limitations. Those doubts are not true. They are echoes of experiences that try to convince you to shrink. But you are not meant to shrink. You are meant to expand, to break patterns, to create new standards for yourself and for the life you are building. And expansion requires courage because it means choosing growth over comfort again and again, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when the path ahead is unclear. Your mind is the command center of your entire life. The way you direct your thoughts determines how you experience reality. A mind left untrained becomes a battlefield of fear, hesitation, and self-sabotage. But a mind disciplined and sharpened becomes an unstoppable weapon of clarity, resilience, and focus. You cannot expect to build a powerful life with a mind that constantly surrenders to weakness. Training your thoughts, mastering your inner dialogue, and refusing to let negativity dominate your perspective is one of the most transformative acts you can commit to. Every time you choose strength over weakness, you reinforce your identity as someone who cannot be broken. And identity is everything. People act according to who they believe they are. If you see yourself as average, you will live average. If you see yourself as powerless, you will live powerless. But if you see yourself as resilient, capable, and destined for more, your actions will align with that belief, and your life will rise to match it. The way you identify yourself creates the foundation of everything you build. This is why you must guard your self-image with intensity. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen it. Every time you follow through on discipline, you confirm it. Every time you push past resistance, you embody it. The world cannot define you unless you allow it to. The truest definition of who you are is created by the actions you repeatedly choose. And when those actions are rooted in discipline, strength, and growth, your self-image becomes unshakable. With an unshakable self-image, challenges stop being threats and start becoming opportunities to prove your strength. Obstacles no longer break you, they refine you. Pain no longer defines you, it prepares you. Failure no longer discourages you, it instructs you. You no longer live as a victim of circumstances, but as the architect of your destiny. That shift is everything. It is the moment you stop waiting for life to give you permission and instead start claiming what was always meant for you. Your greatest transformation begins when you stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if I rise? Because failure is temporary, but rising changes everything. And once you decide to rise, once you choose to stand in the fullness of your strength, nothing and no one can stop the momentum you create. The reason most people never experience their true potential is because they spend their lives scattering their energy in 100 different directions. They try to please everyone, chase every distraction, and carry every burden that doesn't belong to them. But your energy is finite. Every ounce of it you give away to what does not serve you is an ounce that could have been used to build the life you desire. Focus is not just about what you choose to give attention to. It's also about what you refuse to give attention to. Power comes not only from addition, but from subtraction, from cutting away everything that dilutes your strength. When you decide to focus fully on yourself, you reclaim the energy you've been wasting on comparisons, on approval, on doubts, and on things that have no real impact on your destiny. You stop looking outward for validation and instead build inward for transformation. That shift makes you unstoppable because the strongest force in the world is a human being who has directed all of their energy into a single, undeniable purpose. Distractions lose their grip when you understand they're costing you the life you're capable of living. Every distraction you let go of is a step closer to the clarity you've been searching for. Clarity is freedom. Without it, you are lost in noise, pulled by every passing trend and temporary emotion. With it, you cut through the noise and move with direction. And clarity only comes when you are willing to silence what is irrelevant and strengthen what is essential. The essential is your growth, your discipline, your mindset, your vision. The essential is mastering yourself so deeply that no outside circumstance can sway the foundation you are building. The essential is you. You do not owe your energy to every demand placed upon you. You do not owe your time to every person who asks for it. You do not owe your focus to every thought that enters your mind. What you owe yourself is protection of the energy that fuels your growth. Because if you give that away carelessly, you lose the very power you need to rise. Guarding your focus is not selfish. It is necessary. The more you protect it, the more you have to give to what truly matters. And what truly matters is your future, your peace, your purpose. Every time you choose to center your focus back on yourself, you are practicing mastery. Mastery over impulses, mastery over distractions, mastery over the fear of missing out. The truth is, you miss out on nothing when you choose yourself. What you gain is the strength to create a life where you no longer depend on the outside world to make you feel whole. That is a level of freedom most people will never experience because they are too busy seeking outside what they can only create inside. The moment you anchor yourself in this truth, you begin to move differently. You begin to carry a presence that cannot be shaken because you know where your energy is going and why. You begin to rise above the noise because you are no longer pulled by it. You begin to transform because you stopped scattering and started directing. And that direction will lead you to places that distractions never could. Focus is not just about achievement, it is about identity. It is about stepping fully into who you were always meant to be and never again allowing anything or anyone to pull you away from it. The discipline and focus on yourself is not just about protecting your energy. It is about transforming that energy into progress. Growth does not happen by chance. It happens by choice, by deliberate decisions made every day to rise above the habits that hold you down. Every action you take is either an investment in the person you want to become or a withdrawal that leaves you further from your potential. And the truth is, the difference between those who live with regret and those who live with fulfillment is found in the way they discipline their focus. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. It is the structure that allows you to create consistency in a world full of chaos. Without it, your focus drifts, your goals fade, and your vision becomes blurred by temptation. With it, you gain the ability to act not based on mood, not based on impulse, but based on purpose. You no longer ask, do I feel like it? You ask, is this aligned with who I am becoming? That shift changes everything because feelings come and go. But discipline is a decision you can stand on no matter how you feel. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you build inner strength, and strength compounds. What feels impossible at first becomes easier with repetition. Small victories add up until they transform your identity. You no longer see yourself as someone who quits when it's hard. You see yourself as someone who persists until it's done. That belief becomes a self-fulfilling cycle, fueling greater discipline, which in turn creates greater results. This is how transformation happens, not in one grand leap, but in the daily choices to stay aligned with your vision. Focus combined with discipline creates momentum. Momentum is what turns effort into power and power into progress. Once momentum builds, resistance loses its grip. It becomes harder to stop than to continue, harder to quit than to keep going. This is the place you must reach, where your discipline is so deeply ingrained that progress feels natural, almost inevitable. The key is to push through the early battles, the moments when discipline feels heavy and your old habits fight to pull you back. Because beyond those battles lies the freedom of momentum. Do not underestimate the power of routine. The human brain craves patterns. It is wired to follow pathways, to repeat what is familiar. When you discipline yourself to build patterns of strength, your brain begins to crave progress. It begins to expect growth. It begins to align your entire identity with the person you are becoming. And when your mind, your actions, and your identity are all aligned, nothing can stop you. You no longer fight yourself. You become unstoppable because every part of you is working toward the same vision. Discipline is the highest form of self-respect. It says, I refuse to betray myself. I refuse to lower my standards. I refuse to waste my potential. Every choice becomes a declaration of who you are. And when you consistently choose discipline, you not only build the life you want, you build the strength to sustain it. This is why focusing on yourself is not selfish. It is sacred. It is the foundation of becoming the strongest version of you. And once you master that, the life you dream of is no longer a possibility. It becomes your reality. The moment you begin living with discipline and focus, You awaken to the truth that time is your most valuable currency. Unlike money, once time is spent, it never returns. Every day you live distracted is a day you will never get back, a day that could have been used to move you closer to your highest potential. The harsh reality is that most people treat time as if it were infinite, wasting it on meaningless habits, empty conversations, and shallow pursuits. But those who rise above the average see time for what it truly is, the foundation upon which destiny is built. When you focus on yourself, you begin to guard your time as fiercely as your energy. You start asking harder questions. Is this worth the hours of my life it will consume? Does this serve my vision or rob me of it? The answers to those questions cut away the excess and bring you face to face with what truly matters. Protecting your time does not make you rigid. It makes you powerful. Because when you know what you want, you stop giving hours, days, even years to things that do not align with it. Every moment wasted is a moment you could have been investing in your growth. And the most successful, fulfilled, and disciplined people are not the ones who simply work harder. They are the ones who refuse to waste time on what doesn't matter. They understand that the minutes they spend on doubt, gossip, distraction, or fear are minutes stolen from their purpose. And so they guard their days with precision. They move with intention because they know intention is what separates a life of regret from a life of fulfillment. Focusing on yourself means understanding that time is not promised. The clock does not wait for motivation. It does not pause until you feel ready. It keeps moving, silently, relentlessly. And if you do not move with it, you fall behind. But if you align with it, if you honor it, you create a compounding effect where each day builds on the last, and suddenly you are not just living, you are progressing, rising, and becoming. Do not let the illusion of endless time fool you. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. The window of opportunity will not always be open. The energy you have today may not be there tomorrow. The only time you truly own is this moment right now, and how you use it will decide who you become. Choosing to focus, choosing discipline, choosing growth in this moment is how you reclaim power from the clock. Because while you cannot control time, you can control how you use it. There is nothing more liberating than knowing your days are being spent on something meaningful, something aligned with your deepest vision. That is where fulfillment comes from. Not from drifting, not from chasing what others expect, but from pouring your limited time into creating the strongest version of yourself. That choice transforms each day from something you endure into something you build with purpose. And when every day becomes a building block of your destiny, you no longer fear the passing of time. You embrace it because you are using it to carve out the life you were meant to live. The strength to focus on yourself grows even deeper when you realize that not everyone will understand your journey. People will question your choices, misunderstand your silence, and even resist your growth because it challenges their own comfort. But you are not here to be understood. You are here to become. The opinions of others are nothing more than projections of their own fears and limitations. When you allow those voices to dictate your path, you surrender your power. But when you stand firm in your focus, you declare that your vision is greater than their doubt. Every step of transformation requires the courage to walk away from noise. This is not about isolation, but about elevation. You do not cut ties with the world to escape it. You rise above what no longer aligns with who you are becoming. True focus demands that you value your inner voice more than the outer chatter, because only you can hear the call of your purpose. No one else was given your vision, your potential, or your responsibility to bring it to life. That burden is yours alone, and so is the power to fulfill it. Detaching from external validation is one of the most liberating acts of strength. The human brain is wired to seek approval, to crave belonging, to want recognition. But the deeper truth is that the validation you chase outside is only a reflection of the validation you withhold from yourself. The moment you decide that your approval is enough, the grip of the world loosens. You no longer need the applause of the crowd because you have built conviction within your soul. And conviction is unshakable. Focus requires boundaries. Boundaries with your time, with your energy, and most importantly, with people. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into your future. Some are tied to the version of you that you are outgrowing, and if you let them, they will pull you back. But your future cannot be negotiated with those unwilling to grow. Protecting your vision means being willing to disappoint others before you disappoint yourself. It means choosing alignment over approval. It means standing in your truth, even when it makes others uncomfortable. This does not make you cold. It makes you committed to building a life of depth rather than settling for a life of distraction, committed to respecting yourself enough to not waste energy where it is not valued, committed to surrounding yourself only with what nourishes your growth and fuels your fire. This is the essence of focusing on yourself, not selfishness, but self-respect. And when you fully embrace this, something extraordinary happens. You begin to attract people, opportunities, and experiences that match your new level of focus. What once drained you falls away, and what once seemed impossible begins to align with ease. Because the universe responds to clarity, life responds to commitment. When you declare with your actions that you are focused, disciplined, and unwilling to be pulled off course, everything around you starts to shift to meet you where you are. This is the power of refusing to be swayed. This is the strength of choosing yourself without apology. And this is the path to becoming unshakable, unstoppable, and undeniably aligned with the life you were always meant to live. The deeper you focus on yourself, the clearer you see that everything begins and ends with your mindset. Your thoughts shape your emotions shape your actions, and your actions shape your destiny. If your mind is scattered, your life will feel scattered. If your mind is weak, your life will reflect weakness. But if your mind is trained to see opportunity and challenge, it creates strength in struggle and to anchor itself in possibility rather than limitation, then your entire life transforms. The mind is the soil, and whatever you plant there will grow into the reality you live. Most people never realize how much control they actually have over their own minds. They allow their environment, their past, and the opinions of others to dominate their thoughts. But when you choose to focus on yourself, you begin to take ownership of your mental environment. You begin to filter what you allow in, and you decide what deserves space within you. Just as you would not let weeds overtake a garden, you stop letting negativity overtake your mind. You feed it with discipline, with belief, with focus, with vision. And in return, it begins to work for you instead of against you. Every thought you repeat strengthens a pathway in your brain. Neuroscience has proven that what you focus on physically reshapes your mind, rewires your patterns, and builds new habits of thought. This means you are not stuck. You are not defined by old doubts or fears. You have the ability to rewrite the patterns that hold you back and replace them with patterns that push you forward. That is the true power of focusing inward. It is the act of consciously building a mind that supports your destiny instead of sabotaging it. But rewiring your mind requires awareness. You must pay attention to the words you speak to yourself because those words become your reality. If you constantly tell yourself you are tired, weak, or incapable, your body and actions will follow. If you declare that you are strong, disciplined, and unstoppable, your body and actions will follow that too. The mind believes what you tell it most often. And so the responsibility lies with you to decide whether you will feed it weakness or strength. When you commit to training your thoughts, you no longer react blindly to life. You respond with clarity. You no longer drown in fear. You rise with courage. You no longer live chained to limitations. You live directed by possibility. This is the foundation of transformation. It is not the world outside that determines your success. It is the world within. And when the world within is aligned, unshakable, and disciplined, the outside world bends to meet it. You cannot expect lasting change if your mindset does not change. Everything else is temporary. Motivation without mindset fades. Action without mindset collapses. Success without mindset crumbles. But with a strong, focused, unbreakable mind, you can endure storms, overcome failures, and rise higher than you ever thought possible. This is why the greatest investment you will ever make is not in possessions, not in status, not in approval, but in the relentless training of your own mind. Because once your mind is unshakable, nothing in this world can shake you.